Before arriving in his car in Los Angeles, Mike washes himself well and takes his revolver. Then he sets on a tracker to find Masood's car and follows it across town. Mike travels ahead to block a tunnel when he spots one. Mike puts on a mask and opens his trunk as Masood stops behind him. Masood comes over soon, and Mike raises his revolver at him. He checks his pockets, makes him get in his trunk, and then asks for his phone password. Before locking the trunk, Mike reminds him that there is water in it. He then takes off the tracker he put on Masood's car months ago, snatches his phone, and gets back in his own car to depart. In the meantime, cousins Ben and Ollie get their firearms ready to go into a jewelry store. Sammy, the owner, offers them a set of diamonds that they put in a briefcase. Then Sammy brings Ben to his office and shows him the phony jewels in the luggage. Ben has to hide the actual ones in his socks because they are worth $3 million. Mike parks outside the store and texts Sammy from Masood's phone to indicate he's ready. Sammy requests to see their guns before they depart. He doesn't like Ollie's gun, so he gives him a new one. The cousins go in their car and leave, and Mike follows them, acting like Masood. Finally, they pull into a parking spot, and Mike puts his disguise back on and parks too close to them on purpose, shattering their mirror. He threatens them by pointing his rifle at them and showing them his phone, which is streaming a live video of Ben's residence. Mike tells the two to put their guns and phones in his car. Then he comes out and points his gun at Ben and asks for the genuine diamonds, knowing that the ones in the suitcase are false. At first, Ben acts like he doesn't know anything, so Mike brings up his wife by name as another threat. Ben gives him the actual jewels, and Mike rushes to his car to let Masood leave. Ollie can get his second gun because of this. Ollie points the gun at Mike when he gets back to his car and hands him the phones back. His hand shakes, so he misses the shot and hits the window instead. Mike, who is scared, drives away right away, going as fast as he can through town. He almost crashes several times and hits the back of another car, but he keeps going until he gets to a parking lot. He stops for a moment to calm down before taking off his contact lens. Then he puts a cover on the car and gets in a different one to leave. At the same time, Sharon goes to Steven's beautiful estate to offer him an insurance coverage. Steven shows off his security system, then pulls out a revolver and leads Sharon to the window, where he tells her to hit a bottle. Sharon misses because she has never shot a gun before. They go to the table by the pool to talk about policy choices, and Sharon spots a young woman stroll by. She thinks she's Steven's daughter, but he tells her that she's really his fiancée. Sharon quickly tries to get her involved in a conversation, but feels weird now. Detectives Lou and Tillman show up to the parking lot a few minutes later to look into the robbery. They ask the cousins questions and think it's strange that the thief knew so much, but Ben claims he had nothing to do with it. There is a camera on the wall, but it is turned off. Lou then tells Tillman that he thinks this is the same robber he's been following for months because it fits all the clues. He doesn't use violence, turns off the cameras ahead of time, knows exactly what is being moved and when, and then he disappears in seconds utilizing Route 101. Tillman is doubtful and says that his lieutenant urged him to switch partners. He responded no, but Lou needs to get his act together or else their careers would be ruined. He hides the gems in a cup when he gets home. He then touches his head and realizes that the broken window hurt him. He looks at the mask and sees a bloodstain, which implies there might be blood in the automobile that was left behind. In the evening, Mike encounters Money, a man who buys stolen things and sells them on the underground market. Mike says he's worried about the job in Santa Barbara since there will be a lot of civilians there, and he doesn't want anyone to be hurt. Money advises him to come up with a better strategy. Mike gives him a cup before he leaves. Then Money makes a special phone call. Mike hires a woman for the night in a hotel, but he's not in the appropriate frame of mind. He goes home and looks up the employees of the insurance firm, paying special attention to Sharon's profile. The next day, the insurance company talks about the stolen gems, and Sharon is sent to talk to the police. She is angry that they give Steven's account to someone else. Tillman and Lou question Sammy at the police station, and he is upset by the suggestion of fraud. Sammy says he didn't talk to anyone about the gems, he only exchanged emails. This suggests that someone hacked him. Mike is paying a hacker to steal information from Sharon's email, calendar, phone messages, and social media at a diner. Orman, on the other hand, rides his bike very fast till he gets to a parking lot where Money is waiting. Money tells Orman that Mike has lost his nerve and won't do the Santa Barbara job, so he wants Orman to do it instead. That night, Mike is traveling along when another car suddenly hits him from behind. Maya asks Mike for his insurance details, but he instead offers her cash to pay for the damage. Maya has to go through the right means to do this because it's her boss's automobile, and she has to get him to give her information regardless. The next day, Sharon talks to Lou and tells him that the insurance company wants Sammy and the cousins to take a polygraph test. Lou knows the firm doesn't want to pay and makes fun of their techniques. Sharon then makes fun of the crooked police system. There is a fight, and Sharon explains that the numbers show this was done by someone on the inside. Lou gets an idea from this, so he leaves. Lou calls a meeting with his squad at the police station. He puts up a map showing the 219 robberies that happened in the last 4 years. Then he takes down the ones that meet particular criteria, such as being worth less than $500,000, not using a courier or armored car, using violence, or leaving DNA or other evidence. The crimes that are still happening follow a pattern on the 101 motorway. Lou thinks that this criminal taps jewelers' communications to find out when they will shift their goods. He believes that the next robbery will happen in the north. The lieutenant yells at Lou for his presentation after the meeting. He said that a lot of the cases on the pattern already have suspects, and one of them is already closed. The department's primary goal is to keep their numbers strong, therefore reopening them would decrease their clearance rate. Lou's theory has no backing. At the same time, Orman parks his bike outside a bank and sees a man with a suitcase get into their automobile. This man is going inside a jewelry store in Santa Barbara just a few minutes later. Orman jumps on him and forces him inside while holding his revolver. He tries to seize the man's briefcase, but he finds out that it is chained to his wrist. Then Orman tells everyone to get down on the floor and looks in the back office, but all he finds is a baby. He hits a woman with his gun and then aims it at the man and demands for the key. The man says it's in his car. Orman is angry as he looks out the window and sees no cars. He hits the man in the face until he acknowledges that the key is on his neck. The gentleman finally unlocks the handcuffs, and Orman grabs the suitcase and gets ready to depart. But he sees that there is more precious jewels in the store, so he takes a worker by the hair and tells her to open the cabinets. After the poor woman puts all the jewelry in Orman's bag, he tells everyone to lie on top of the first man. He tries to leave, but the door is closed, so he has to go back and touch a button to open it. He doesn't move quickly enough, and the door locks again. To get an employee to move, he shoots one of the cupboards. A man presses the button, and the alarm goes off. Finally, Orman exits. Mike texts Maya to ask her out at the same time. They meet in a really fancy restaurant in the evening. Mike acts like he's a software guy who travels a lot. Maya says she doesn't like being in a restaurant like this, so Mike tells her he only brought her here since it's a popular place for dates. They switch locations and wind up eating street food instead. They talk for a bit and find a way to connect despite their differences. Maya says she will do this again at the end of the date. Mike finds out about Orman's robbery via the news after she leaves. Lou chats to his wife at a diner, and she tells him she's been cheating on him. He ignores the call from Tillman so he can focus on the topic. Lou tells his wife to stay because he will be the one to move out. They yell at each other before he goes. Lou then goes to the jewelry store to meet up with his colleagues. Tillman says that this robbery fits Lou's theory because the store is in the north, but Lou thinks it was a different robber because the one who usually robs stores isn't violent. In the meantime, Mike meets with Money and tells him to stop sending another guy with the information he got. Mike thinks Money has broken his trust, thus he won't work with him again if it happens again. Money, who is quite angry, tells Mike that he wouldn't be anything without him, but Mike just walks away. Sharon sees Sammy take the polygraph test at the insurance firm. He is quite upset that people think he might be lying and attacks Sharon and her business. Later, Money tells Orman that Mike is up to something fresh and wants Orman to follow him. Orman can't do the next robbery. He has to let Mike do it, and then rob Mike himself. In the afternoon, Orman sees Mike meet with the hacker. Mike gets a note that explains how to obtain the information that has been encrypted on a ridiculous website. Orman checks his phone after Mike leaves and finds out that he installed a tracker in Mike's car. Mike looks over Sharon's information at home and learns about her schedule. He goes to a restaurant the next day to see her. He pretends to be another customer and talks to her about vehicles just before she leaves. Lou and Tillman look at all the heist videos at the police station. Lou thinks the thief switched automobiles and wants to look around the area. Maya goes to Mike's house for another date in the evening. She sees that he doesn't have any personal things or pictures of his family, so he explains he isn't in touch with them. He also says that he grew up poor, so he isn't used to keeping things. Maya then plays some music and gets him to dance with her. This quickly turns into kissing and being bad. Maya starts to get dressed when they're done, but Mike talks her into staying. That night, Mike goes out to the balcony to get some fresh air and spots a light in the distance that shows where Orman is. After seeing Orman leave on his bike, Mike runs to his car and looks everywhere until he discovers the tracker, which he takes off right away. Then he calls to rent a new place. The next morning, Orman acts like a delivery man and breaks into the hacker's flat. He throws him around the room and then sits on him, pointing his rifle in his mouth and asking what he's been doing for Mike. Lou is still looking in every parking lot in the vicinity, though. He eventually finds a covered automobile today and checks inside right away to see the broken glass. The forensics team quickly searches the area and finds a small drop of blood. Later, Mike travels to an art gallery since he knows Sharon will be there. He acts like it was a coincidence, but she remembers him from the restaurant, so they start talking and wind up having a drink together. Mike wants Sharon to read him when she talks about her career and how it's helped her read people. She decides that he is a secretive person who is a little OCD and has too much money and time on his hands. But she can tell he didn't have a lot of money when he was a kid. Mike doesn't like the way things are going, so he changes the subject and says that their meeting wasn't a coincidence. He then goes on to explain all he knows about her, such as the fact that she's been with the same firm for 11 years and hasn't been promoted. He says that he works with people who can help him plan his robberies and that he always makes sure that no one gets wounded or found. When Sharon becomes furious at the concept of stealing instead of working hard, Mike tells her that the shareholders of her company aren't clean either. Sharon still wants to go, so Mike informs her that if she changes her mind, she has to publish a picture of the beach on Instagram. Mike sees Orman outside the bar after Sharon leaves and runs to his car to follow him. Both of them drive quite fast and make a lot of unexpected bends that could put other automobiles in risk. A bus suddenly gets in the way, so Mike had to stop the car. But when the bus leaves, Orman is still there. Before the chase starts up again, the men give each other a nervous glance. Orman keeps using a number of methods to stay ahead, and in the end, he gets a car to crash. Mike is lucky that he responds swiftly and avoids it, so he can keep following Orman, which is getting harder because they are on a highly busy street. Orman crashes into a car and falls off his bike when he turns around to see if Mike is still behind him. Mike watches him leave and follows him inside a store where Orman is grabbing a drink. Orman attempts to act innocent, but Mike becomes mad and pushes against the fridge while demanding an explanation. He doesn't even release go when Orman bites his hand and pulls out a revolver to threaten him. Orman acknowledges that money went to him, and Mike informs him that if he sees them again, they will be killed. The next day, Sharon finds out that Lou is in her yoga class. They talk for a bit until Lou gets a call from the police station about several suspicious cars parked outside a jewelry store. Lou runs to the scene of the incident and sees another detective shooting a thief who is running away. He takes off the disguise of the culprit and finds a teen. The other detective checks on the adolescent while Lou glances about and swears he's armed. Lou looks again and sees that the boy has a gun in his hand, but he's sure it wasn't there before. Lou tells the lieutenant what he witnessed at the police station. The lieutenant isn't thrilled because he wants to keep his soldiers safe, and he tells Tillman that he has agreed to lie. He said that the 3 detectives will be put on leave until the probe is over. Lou gets a report with a DNA test from the automobile and the person in the system that matches it as he gathers his belongings. Mike's real name is James. He was in foster care and has a long history of trouble with the law. Sharon is upset at the insurance firm because another worker has made a deal with Steven. After the meeting, her supervisor tells her that she won't get a promotion this year, but maybe next year will be better. Sharon calls him out since he's been making the same promise for years and says she'll move her clients to another company. His boss makes fun of her by saying that rich men won't follow a 53-year-old. Sharon is so mad that she goes to the beach and takes a picture for her Instagram. Mike gets a message right away and hurries to collect her. She tells him that a courier will bring watches and gems to Steven's wedding as gifts for his wedding. A lot of money will be there also because Steven pays for everything in cash. They could steal $11 million and Sharon wants 3 of it. Mike says that's highly risky, so he'll think about it. Lou goes to the last address on Mike's file that night. He encounters but she doesn't get why anyone would hunt for James there, and leaves Mike a voicemail soon after saying they need to chat. Mike calls her back right away and tells her that a police officer is hunting for him. Mike hangs up when she hands the phone to Lou. Later, Mike surprises Sharon in her car and says he will go through with the robbery. He provides her a phone that she may throw away and tells her to destroy the SIM card after each call. The next day, Mike travels to the hotel where the wedding is to check on the security. Sharon, on the other hand, obtains all the details on Steven's wedding from the company's system. Sharon gets rid of the SIM card and the trash when she gets home. When Orman gets back to her flat, he throws her down and strikes her a few times, saying that he will do worse if she doesn't tell him what she's been doing with Mike. Sharon doesn't go to yoga class the next day, but she still waits until the end to show Lou her injuries. They talk in a parking lot, where they can conceal, and she tells him everything, which she had to do with Orman too. Lou couldn't promise that he can keep her out of jail, but he does tell her to stay with him for her own safety. Lou goes back to the police station to look at the evidence from the diamond robbery, while Orman goes to the hotel to follow an employee. There, he finds the bag with the phony diamonds. Mike has a date with Maya in a restaurant. He tells her that he has to leave town for work, but asks her to wait for him. Maya doesn't buy the excuse that he was busy with work and goes on a rant about how she knows nothing about him. Mike thinks it's condescending and says that those who grew up with money will never comprehend needing to do awful things to stay alive. Maya leaves since it's not enough for her. Sharon goes to work the next day like she always does, but she can't stop checking her phone to see where the courier's plane is. Then she sees that her co-worker is laughing at her boss's jokes. She storms into her office and starts yelling at her, telling her that the bosses make a lot of promises, but they're all lies. They only want young women to date the weird rich guys. Sharon leaves the workplace with her head held high, even after disrespecting her boss. Mike is also waiting in the parking area close to the airport. He hires a guard to deliver the package, and then sticks his rifle at him, threatening to show him his residence on his phone feed. He takes the guy's car and phone so he can act like the hired security. The courier's plane finally arrives, and a man comes up to him with an urgent message. Mike soon picks up the courier, not knowing that Lou has switched places with the genuine guy. They try to talk to each other casually during the ride, but it's evident that they're both very tense and keep looking at each other with distrust. Orman dresses into the employee's outfit at the hotel and orders a room for the wedding suite. Mike and Lou head directly to visit Steven when they get there. Mike pulls out his rifle and tells everyone to go down on their knees as soon as they close the door. Steven doesn't want to discuss, but his fiancée is scared and says the money is in the safe. Mike tells Steven to open the safe and take out all the money. After he puts it in his backpack, he tells Lou to open the case containing the gems. Lou does what he says and finds the gun he hid there before. He points it at Mike and tells him he's a cop. They keep threatening each other until Orman comes into the room, captures Mike, and takes away his gun while pointing his own rifle at Lou. Everyone starts yelling at each other since they don't know what to do. In the end, Orman loses it and shoots Steven. Then he tells Lou to shove the suitcase containing the jewels, but Lou feels scared because a cop has seen his face. They start to fight, but Orman suddenly dies, which stops them. Mike used the gun he got from Lou to kill him. Lou puts Mike's gun aside after examining Orman's pulse. He tells him to leave the city and never come back, saying that he will put everything on Orman. Mike finally puts down his gun and exits the room. Steven is very angry and yells at Lou for striking a deal with a thief. Lou, on the other hand, threatens to look into Steven for tax fraud and bringing in illicit stones if he doesn't lie about what happened to his fiancée. Steven decides to help. Mike can walk away from the hotel while police cars surround it on the street. Lou tells the other passengers on the bus that he has Steven's jewels and left the fake ones in the suitcase. He then goes to the yoga class to give Sharon the diamonds so she may start over. She sends him a picture that Mike sent with a message for the cop in return. In the meantime, Mike drives out of town. Later, Lou goes to where the image was taken and finds Mike's old automobile. He gets to drive it because it comes with keys. At the same time, Maya gets an envelope with a picture of Mike as a child. On the back, he says he's sorry and hopes they can get back in touch. You see more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and enable on notifications.